As we are walking into this literal new year where God is absolutely going to be doing a new thing, something that is required of us is consistency to see that thing through. Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Melody and I make faith-based content here on YouTube. I post new videos every single Monday. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely be sure and subscribe. I would love to have you join the family. So in today's video, as you can tell by the topic we are going to be talking about something that is so incredibly important for us to possess as we are walking into this new year and beyond. I just got back from church and I'm kind of going off script here, sis, but I feel like I have to share with you the prophetic word that my pastor shared with us because it speaks so much to the idea and the importance surrounding consistency. Our pastor shared a Bible verse out of Isaiah. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up on the screen real quick for you. It is Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18 through 19. It says, "Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." I don't know about you guys, but for a lot of us, 2023 could have looked like the wilderness. It could have looked like the desert. Okay, I know for myself, it was definitely a year full of a lot of challenges. Yes, a lot of good, but I'm gonna be real. It was full of a lot of challenges. And for those of us that had a beautiful 2023, which I love for you, okay? I absolutely love that for you. But my pastor was saying that some of us have a tendency where God does a good thing in one season, we wanna set up camp here instead of continuing to follow him and let us lead us into that new season for him to do a new thing. And so as we are walking into this literal new year where God is absolutely going to be doing a new thing, something that is required of us is consistency to see that thing through. Simply put, sis, this last year was training ground, and this year we are coming for everything that God has for us in Jesus' name, okay? And a huge stepping stone for us getting to that point and following the Lord faithfully is consistency. Now, when I say consistency, I mean consistency in every area of our life. Every sphere of life that we have, consistency will make that difference of us being successful in that area or not, of us seeing God's will come to pass or not. So yes, that means consistency in fitness, which we will absolutely talk about later in this video. This means consistency in our emotional health, consistency in how we're treating our body, consistency in how we are talking to ourselves, consistency in our spirituality and our walk with the Lord, consistency on how we steward our blessings here on earth, consistency in everything. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on 3 instructions coming straight from the Bible on how we can be consistent in 2024 and beyond. And with each instruction, I'm also going to be sharing some practical tips on what that looks like to walk it out today. So with all that being said, let's just go ahead and dive on in. So number 1 on our list, the first instruction straight from the Bible on how we can increase our consistency is to resist or say no to our flesh often. This is something that we have to get used to. Now, this specific instruction is actually coming out of the book of Romans. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that up soon, but I first wanted to let you know that the sponsor of today's video, Copilot, has been helping me over the last 6 months see consistency in the area of fitness, and it has been absolutely amazing to see how the consistency that I've built in this specific area of my life actually bleeds into every other area. It bleeds into how I take care of my home, consistency in homemaking. It's bleeding into how I am consistently showing up in my time with the Lord. It's bleeding into how I serve my husband and take care of my child. And it's all come from just working out and denying my flesh the pleasure of just sitting on the couch and relaxing and not doing anything, and actually being consistent to do and become this person that I know God is calling me to become. Now, when it comes to Copilot, if you are not familiar, they are a fitness app, but more than just a fitness app, they pair you up with your own personal trainer. And this is what I think makes Copilot different than every other app out there. I have a personal trainer and she is Kaylin, and I am able to connect with her. I can text her, we can make calls. She also checks in with me and holds me accountable to being consistent. We set goals in the beginning of us working together, and I let her know that my only goal was to consistently show up. Yes, I'd love to lose a few pounds and a few inches, but I knew more than that. I wanted to use this fitness journey as an opportunity to grow in my consistency, an opportunity to say no to my flesh in a very practical way each and every day. Although I don't work out every day, but just, you know what I mean, building that healthy habit. And so that is what we've been focused on over the last 6 months. Kaylin has built out workout programs for myself. She puts together everything and I'm able to give her input, which I do often, letting her know, hey, as a busy mom, my schedule has changed. Can we actually make the workouts a little shorter? Hey, I want to start implementing classes. Can you add that to the app for me? And I don't know if you guys know this, but I shared it here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram that I ran my first 5K, and Kaylin supported me through that process as well, making sure that my workouts were going to be conducive to this running training that I was doing. Having my trainer through Copilot in my corner on this journey to build consistency has made all the difference. Not only is she there to hold me accountable, but she's also there to celebrate the wins with me. And she also takes a big weight off my shoulders of me trying to figure out what should I do when I get to the gym. She builds my workouts from warm up to cool down, and I know that they are well-rounded and supporting the goals that I have shared with her. At the end of the day, Copilot has been one of the best investments that I've made in myself. And like I stated, the consistency that I build in this area, it blows my mind to see how it is bleeding into so many other facets of my life. If you guys want to check out Copilot and build consistency in your life through fitness, but also watch it bleed into the other areas of your life as well with your own personal trainer, I definitely encourage you to check them out. I will have a link in the description box that gets you a 14-day free trial, again, through my link. Click my Copilot link to get a 14-day free trial, and you get 20% off your first month of personalized fitness if you sign up before February 1st. So thank you so much again to Copilot for sponsoring this video and for helping me grow my consistency muscle by saying no to my flesh and getting my workouts in and day out. Now, before we wrap up with this specific instruction, I want us to go to Romans so we can read what Paul had to say on the topic of denying our flesh. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up on the screen. And it comes out of Romans chapter 8, verses 5 through 10. And it says, "For those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit have their mind set on the things of the Spirit. Now, the mindset of the flesh is death, but the mindset of the Spirit is life and peace. The mindset of the flesh is hostile to God because it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it is unable to do so. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. You, however, are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God lives in you. If anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he does not belong to him." So as you can see here, Paul is giving the church in Rome specific instructions on how to engage with our flesh and how to deny it. And as we do what Paul is saying, relying on the Spirit to lean into what the Spirit wants and not what our flesh wants, that is the first step that we have to take on our way to building and increasing our consistency. So that is going to be number 1. So number 2 on our list, the second instruction coming straight from the Bible on how we can increase our consistency is for us to identify aspects of our behavior or our tendencies that are needing to change. Now, when it comes to this identification, this is something that we absolutely need to go to the Father for. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the verse up here that is basically David crying out to God, "Search me, O God." So let's go ahead and read it together. The Bible verse is Psalm chapter 134, verses 22 through 23. And it says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my concerns. See if there is any offensive way in me. Lead me in the everlasting way." So here in this verse, David is willing to go to God and say, "Hey God, what areas of my heart need some cleaning up? Where do you need to pluck out some things so I cannot have things in my life and in my heart that are offensive to you?" And we need to do the same thing on our journey to becoming more consistent. Going to the Father, not once, not twice, but consistently, okay? Consistently going to God day in and day out when we recognize we might have some dirt somewhere or not, asking God to search us. It's in these moments where the Lord reveals or highlights or calls to mind some specific actions maybe that we took, or some specific thought processes, or maybe we have some unbelief deep in our heart that we aren't the type of people that can achieve X, Y, or Z. The Lord needs us to be willing vessels just like David and to ask him, "Hey God, show me what you see. And as we do that, we're able to clean up and invite the Lord into that process, and in turn take one more step towards being consistent. Now, for the practical application of this particular instruction, I honestly am gonna point back to fitness again. I've found that in these moments where I wanted to just blow off my workout, finish it completely, or cut a corner with something, I asked God, where is the origin of that? Why do I have this tendency when things get a little bit hard? Do I want to not complete it? Why do I have the tendency to start something but not finish it? If I told you I felt like working out, I would be lying, but I want to be consistent more than I want to be comfortable right now. And my trainer is checking in with me, so I want to make her proud too. Let's get this workout in. And as I'm taking these questions to the Lord and asking him to search my heart, he was able to actually highlight to me, hey, this thing happened when you were young and it made you believe that you weren't the type of person that could do X, Y, or Z. And I'm trying to rewrite what you think is capable for yourself. Hey, when things like that happen, you have a tendency to run this way, and instead of running this way, I want you to now run that way towards me. So I want you to find some area of your life or some habit that you are wanting to grow in and ask God to search your heart in regards to that. Ask him to show you what is stopping you from doing this thing that you know he has called you to do. What are the hangups and the holdups and the things that are blocking you from that? And as again, he is highlighting this to you, make sure that you're inviting him in to clear that out. It's not until we see ourselves the way that God sees us that we are going to actually be able to show up consistently as the person he is calling us and created us to be. So that is going to be number 2. And number 3 on our list, which side note, if you guys notice, I'm kind of like shifting over a little bit. It's because the sun is coming in over here, but I digress. So number 3 on our list today, the third instruction coming straight from the Bible on how we can increase our consistency is, last but not least, we cannot rely on ourselves. We don't have to do this on our own. We do not have to rely on our own strength. So I'm going to stop here before we get too far into this specific instruction, and let's go to the Bible. It says in 2 Timothy 1:7, God gave us his spirit, and the spirit doesn't make us weak or fearful. Instead, the spirit gives us power and love. It helps us control ourselves. So the good news here is on this journey to be more consistent, as we are not relying on ourselves, but relying on the Holy Spirit. And as we are giving ourselves grace, this is what actually fuels us as we are taking one step after the other. We can't try to put this idea of consistency on our back and carry it on our own. We're going to fail each and every time. But when we do it with Jesus, when we invite God into the process, when we give ourselves grace for being human, but also in the moments, allow the Holy Spirit to work through us and do the things that our flesh is resisting, that is how this consistency muscle actually gets bigger. Now, practically, this looks like, I'm going to give an example that comes again from fitness, because this is just the one thing that I was able to hold on to over the last 6 months and truly allow myself to see the fruit of consistency in my life. Now, when I was implementing this third instruction on my fitness journey, I was seeing that when I gave myself grace and I was actually able to listen to my body, this body that the Lord gave me, and listen to the convictions of, hey, you didn't get a lot of sleep last night because your baby was up. Give yourself some grace on your workout today and do something alternative. And that's where co-pilot and Kaylin was amazing, because she had all of these alternative home workouts available. She even has treadmill workouts, or if I went to a class, I was also able to input that in. So I was still able to be consistent, still able to show up for myself at the gym, still able to show up and do what I know God was calling me to do, but I was also able to give myself grace on the journey. Some days you're gonna show up and it's going to be 75%, but guess what, sis? You still showed up, and that still counts. God still honors our obedience in showing up at 75%. Now, where he's not gonna honor it and where disobedience comes into it is when we don't show up at all. And so that's why it's so important that we do not rely on ourselves, but the Lord's grace and his spirit on this journey to being more consistent. All right, sis, that is going to be it for me. If you enjoyed today's today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and then send it to one of your good sisters you think will also enjoy it. I also want to go ahead and thank one more time the sponsor of today's video, Copilot. Again, you can check out the link in my description box to get a 14-day free trial and allow Copilot and your own personal trainer help you grow in your consistency like I have, and let that consistency bleed into all the other facets of your life. Now, before we wrap it up, it is of course your turn. So in the comments below, I would love to know, what does consistency in this season of your life look like? I feel like consistency and what that looks like to show up is going to be different depending on the season of life that we're in. So let us know in the comments what it would look like for you to be consistent where you are today. I think it'll be really encouraging for us to see what consistency looks like across different seasons of life. So definitely take a second, drop your response, and then scroll on through. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.